Montana is a great place to get away from the hustle and bustle of city life.
Good day to you, brother.
Filled to the brim with wildlife to hunt and fish,
Collapse is upon us, my children.
mountains to climb and explore,
We save those lost souls, whether they want to be saved or not.
and after a day filled with activities, it's nice to go back to a cabin and relax next to a nice, warm fireplace.
Wish to harm us. Some will wish to destroy all that we have built here together. Some will betray us.
Many people dream of one day retiring in this peaceful American frontier.
Those in the outside world are blind. They do not believe. They have no faith. But I will make them see.
But not when it's filled with crazy religious cultists.
My family, my brothers, my sisters, they've been taken from me by a snake in the garden!
Please, are you there? Is somebody there? Please.
I told you that God wouldn't let you take me.
Hey guys, this is Obi from ObSobe Gaming, and welcome to our review of Far Cry 5. Before we begin, for the best audio quality, we recommend that you use a headset or headphones while watching, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to be the first to see our weekly content that we upload every Friday. For this review, we're going to be focusing on story, gameplay, and visuals. Let's start this review with the story.
Our own sovereign religious state, built right here, under our noses.
If you have ever played a Far Cry game, then you kind of know what to expect. Similar to Far Cry 3 and 4, this game starts out with a bang, literally. In Far Cry 5, you start the game out riding in a helicopter as a deputy sheriff. During your short ride into Hope County, a fictional region set in the hills of Montana, you are briefed on what has taken place prior to the start of the game. Your mission is to go into the county and take Joseph Seed into custody. Joseph Seed believes that he has been chosen by God to lead the people through Doomsday, and in doing so, he has established a congregation called Eden's Gate. Seed uses not only his natural skills as a preacher, but will also use violence, drugs, mental conditioning, and torture to convert the citizens of Hope County to join Project Eden's Gate, better known to the locals as Peggies.
Oh yeah! See, everything is coming to an end. You can feel that. I know you can.
Joseph Seed is not alone on his quest, as he is joined by other members of the Seed family, John, Jacob, and Faith. After you issue the arrest, things quickly go south, and Joseph escapes, and your only means of getting out of the country are removed from the equation. You're now stuck in Hope County, but you're not alone. You are quickly saved by a man known as Dutch. He sets you on a journey to build a militia and reclaim Hope County from the sadistic hands of the Seed family. After the initial startup in the plot, things slow down a bit. The game opens up in normal Far Cry fashion. The main story missions will have you building a resistance in 3 different regions that are controlled by members of the Seed family. John Seed, a lawyer by nature, is gifted with a silver tongue and will use his natural charm to try to win over the locals. If this does not work, torture is his forte. John is the leader of the area known as Holland Valley.
Not this one. This one's not clean.
Faith Seed, also referred to as the Herald of Henbane River, Faith is in charge of manufacturing a drug known as Bliss and keeps the cultists in a constant state of euphoria. You can also find some cult members dumping the drug into the lakes and streams as they are trying to drug and win over the locals. When words won't do, hallucinations will. The Henbane River is where people come to free and heal their mind.
Walk the path.
Jacob Seed, formerly a military man, and is referred to as the Big Brother for the Peggies. He's in charge of recruiting, training, and the militarization of the cult. His handiwork can be found in the Whitetail Mountains. Jacob is great at getting into people's heads and is known for his mental conditioning. Let's move on to gameplay. Unlike Far Cry's Jason Brody and AJ Gale, the character you play as is nameless and is referred to as Deputy. You can choose the look of your hair and body type from some basic presets, and your outfit is yours to pick as well. Also, your character will be silent in this title. Those that have played Far Cry 3 and 4 will be familiar with the infamous radio towers that once climbed will unlock parts of the map and side quests located in that region. Well, those radio towers are now a thing of the past, and you only have to climb one radio tower in the beginning of the game. The developers also poked fun at this as well.
I know what you're thinking, and no, I ain't gonna have you climbing towers all over the county for me, so don't worry.
While hunting wildlife is available, it's not a focus in this title like it is in previous renditions. Fishing has also made its way into Far Cry and is a great way to escape the firefights and just unwind. You will no longer need to collect animal pelts for crafting, holsters, or wallets, as these are now unlocked from the new skill tree menu. A new ability that makes its way into the game is that when you fast travel, you can now choose to be airdrop in PUBG style, and this can give you an advantage when scouting and entering an enemy outpost. Speaking of outposts, there are far fewer of them in Far Cry 5, and honestly, I'm truly glad for this, as there are more areas to investigate that don't involve just clearing out encampment after encampment. Like mentioned earlier, there are 3 different regions that are governed by different members of the Seed family. While each antagonist is different and offers their own unique threat, going about taking them down is typically the same. You come to the region overrun with the cult, and you take missions from the locals, building up a resistance and also removing any outpost. You can also find supply trucks and cult-owned silos to blow up when given the chance. Slowly, you will build a target on your back, and the leaders will send a search party for you and bring you in, and this is where you get most of your face time with the cult leaders. After escaping and building up enough resistance, it's time to flush out the antagonists and take them out of the playing field. Like in previous titles, gunplay feels great and very grounded. You will find your first pistol very early on. Unlike previous Far Cry titles, unlocking free weapons is very limited, and you will be forced to purchase most of your growing arsenal from the shops, giving these shops more of a purpose in this title. Some major weapons can be unlocked, however. You have the ability to wield a variety of weapons such as pistols, bows, SMGs, shotguns, assault rifles, sniper rifles, and rocket launchers. Also packed up your sleeves is a pretty good range of explosives such as Molotovs, grenades, dynamite, and C4. You will no longer have to go into your pause menu to craft these either. It's all done from the weapon wheel now. If going in guns blazing is not your thing, then you can always choose a stealthy approach, and this is the way I prefer to play the game. The knife, however, has been removed from this title, opting for melee weapons that you can find and pick up around the world. Aside from takedowns, I didn't really ever have a need for using these, however. You can also hire some people to follow you into battle, and can often be useful in both stealth and open gunfights. Giving commands is easy as a button prompt. While I do enjoy being a quiet shadow, there are some forced firefights that will catch you off guard if you're not already equipped with the right weapons. After becoming a large enough threat, the leaders will sometimes call in an airstrike, and these can be annoying when trying to clear out the map, as the threat is always present until you take down the leader, and I found this tedious and annoying. The wingsuit and grappling hook also make the return in this title. Oh, and combat while driving got a major overhaul as well. It's much easier to aim, as your character will automatically point the weapon to the nearest enemy, giving you the ability to still steer your vehicle. Side quests have been given a bit of a facelift as well, giving you more of a variety, and while I did enjoy this, some of the storytelling still needs work. With that being said, some side quests are downright hilarious, like having to collect bull testicles in creative ways for the annual testicle festival, or having a man make contact with beings from another solar system. Another interesting part of the game is the fact that you will find hidden bunkers similar to the ones found in the hit television show Doomsday Preppers. While it's always interesting to find these, however, they tend to mostly look the same, but sometimes will vary in style, and getting into them can bring its own challenges as well, like having to go through an old-fashioned Halloween-style haunted house filled with lifelike props, or these might just be real bodies, I'm not sure. Another big change is the lack of focus on collectibles, and I would say this is a good thing. No longer will your map be filled with hundreds of collectibles. While these are still available, they are far and few in between. I do feel like crafting items are plentiful when rummaging through the many homes skirted around the map. As far as wildlife goes, I noticed that running into the more dangerous creatures was less frequent than in previous games, and to be honest, this was another welcome change. The skills also have some minor changes as well, and again, this is a good thing. While some perks are passive, like permanent health boost boosts. Others, like the booby trap perk, allow you to sabotage a vehicle, and upon its next impact, it will explode. And this offers some interesting ways to either take out enemies or make a decent distraction. Also, I would like to mention that when you stumble across an outpost, you will notice that the cultists are often singing hymns and listening to broadcasts from the local governing force of that area, giving the different areas a variety in personality. To wrap up gameplay, I really do enjoy the stealth mechanics of the game, and when forced into a fight, I always enjoyed myself, taking up the role of Rambo and coming up with creative ways to take out my pursuers. This title is very fast-paced when it comes to combat and really slows down when just roaming around and taking in the sights. And with that being said, it's time for visuals.
Welcome to the bliss.
As always, Far Cry 5 is visually breathtaking, from the open golden fields to the streams and lakes. So I must be honest with you guys, I grew up out in the middle of nowhere, and seeing things like log cabins and dirt roads feels like home to me. It's like playing in my virtual backyard, so to speak. I can honestly say that I love the setting of Far Cry 5. I love how early in the morning, you can see fog rolling in from the lakes and streams. Most of the buildings in Hope County consist of either log cabins or architecture from the late 1800s to early 1900s. The interiors look amazing, however, lack in variety when going from home to home. Each of the different regions offer a variety of things to look at, from the farmlands in Holland Valley to the geothermal hot springs in the Henbane River region. Now, while there is a day and night cycle, the weather never seems to change, and not having dynamic weather in an open world game is visually disappointing. The animals look amazing in their natural habitat as well, watching a deer graze from afar. Visuals are always a hard one for me to describe. Putting what I see into words is not an easy talent. However, Hope County is a place that I would actually like to visit if it weren't covered in cultists. Something that I've always had an issue with when it comes to Ubisoft games is the lack of enemy character models, as you will often be fighting multiple of the same enemy over and over, and when you have the same model repeated 15 times on screen, it can be immersion breaking. Also, like I mentioned earlier, I grew up out in the middle of nowhere, and I find it annoying that there are so many drivers on the dirt roads, and to be honest, there should be nobody. To wrap things up, Ubisoft has made some great strides to make this title feel different from its predecessors, but still has a bit of a way to go when it comes to storytelling. They always seem to set themselves up for a great story, but when it comes down to it, it's always delivered in such short bursts and hard to see the full picture. As far as visuals go, they've always done a fantastic job visually, and this still continues. The overall gameplay is amazing, and quality of life changes separate this title from previous entries. I can honestly say that I would recommend this game to anyone who has yet to pick it up. Alright guys, that concludes our review of Far Cry 5. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button and share us on your social media pages, as it helps us reach a broader audience and we really appreciate it. If you have not done it already, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to be the first to see our weekly content we upload every Friday. You can also follow us on Twitter by clicking the link in the description below. Now we want to know, what did you think of our review? Have you played Far Cry 5, and if so, did you enjoy this title? Well, until next time guys, this is Obi, signing out. See you guys next time.